Haribo. Of course, thank Rati for telling me now. I have some people coming to the class today. So let me just talk maybe about some other things. Yeah, it's really when you come to the Holy Dham Govardhan, I guess it's age appropriate for me that I'm allowed to have a retired life. So it can't be compared to others. I also worked very hard, even though it was in Vrindavan. It was incredible, starting at 4:30 in the morning, my work, ending late at night. So we should all have a retired life. But the nice thing about Vrindavan, Bṛhad Prabhu once told me this, is that we come to a holy place, not because we can really understand the holy place, but because there are people who can. And that's what's really exciting here. Just meeting the people. When I want, it's an open invitation to take lunch with Bhakti Vigyan Goswami. I'll just give you a little Vrindavan life. It's mostly chanting now, and preparing for some classes, and sometimes people come. But I took lunch with him, and he had this. He's been having health problems, and there's this doctor that he had lunch with, and such a clear-headed, what a nice man, friendly, immediately respectful. And I asked him what kind of doctor is he, and he's a longevity doctor. And if you know Bhakti Vigyan Goswami, the reason why his name is, I don't want to start the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, the other people come. The reason why he's known as Bhakti Vigyan Goswami is because he knows everything about everything. So he started talking about the Shastra because there was, anyway, this longevity doctor, he was telling me about people living hundreds of years old and things like this. You don't know. I mean, you don't want to limit the possibilities of reality to your own frame of reference, but you don't want to drop your skepticism. But Bhaktivedanta Swami would begin to describe, he's friends with a disciple of Devara Baba, who is famous for living hundreds of years. So Bhaktivedanta Goswami began to describe, I don't know, from some Ayurvedic Shastra, and this other longevity doctor seemed to know about it, this whole procedure. Anyway, and what the room looks like and how long it takes and et cetera, and how people rejuvenate their bodies and different mystic things. But anyway, but more interesting than that is, and what I'm realizing here, there are people here, dedicated followers of Prabhupada, with substantial spiritual attainment. And it's inspiring to meet them. And they're friends. Actually, none of them, they're not my godbrothers. They're, and if you can call them junior devotees, they come to my class sometimes. But very advanced. And one person shows up at my door and he says, I'm a disciple of such and such. I don't want to reveal his identity. He says, I'm a disciple of such and such, a very nice man in his 60s. And I said, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I can see you, maybe you can come some other day. I kind of felt, I can't just, anybody shows up. then I recognize him as someone I knew in Vrindavan for 35 years ago, who's somehow or other, his guru told him that is only very unusual. Somehow the guru is empowered that his only service was to chant Hare Krishna. And then, he got married and had a child. Now the child, 23, somehow got married, and his wife somehow travels all around the world. Yeah, Haribo, come on in. Okay. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, come in. Uh, okay, I'll start the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta class now. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I forgot the class started at 5, and I didn't.
5:30.
I said 5:30.
Yeah.
And it starts 5:30 on Sunday. I didn't start yet because I also forgot.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's actually start doing the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. And I have some audience, so we can do that. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, in the West, I have class on Wednesday and Sunday.
Oh.
So the Sunday one, because it's Sunday,
Yeah.
starts a little bit later. And the Wednesday one, because people start work, comes a little bit together. And then it's daylight saving time, and I lost track. But this is we're relishing the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. So let me get to a good verse where we can start. Oh, let me find that. Okay. Reading from Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 2, Chapter 3, Text 80. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tad-darśana-svabhāvottha. praharṣākṛṣṭa-mānasaḥ. nājñāsiṣaṁ antar, bahiś cānyan. nija-priyam. So attracted was my mind by the spontaneous joy of seeing them, that I was aware of nothing but them, externally or internally, not even the things most dear to me. Om jnana-timirandasya gananjana shalakaya taksuranmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I think most of us have been following this. It's Gop Kumar's journey, and we are Anuga, Rupa Anuga. Anuga means we follow. This is so important in bhakti. The way you advance is you follow people who've taken the path before you. And Gop Kumar specifically is explaining his story to enlighten this Brahmin who had a similar experience of getting a mantra from Guru, or from Devi, getting a mantra and having faith in that mantra, both by the faith of the authority of the person who's giving it to you and the experience you have from chanting. Faith is these two things. Faith is knowledge and experience. That's why it says that an uttama adhikari is one who has strong faith and also understanding. If you have the wrong understanding, then what is that verse? I know it causes a disturbance. If you don't, Shruti Smriti Paranadi Pancharatna Vidim Ahointikir Upatatyaiva Kalpate. You have the right you don't have the right education. That's why Prabhupada has books. That's why there's Shastra. If you don't have the proper knowledge, you don't know what to do. And if you don't have the proper discipline, you can't do it. That's why in the Bhagavatam, when it is kind of basically asked, how do you realize tattva? Tattva is described, Vedanta tat, tattva vidas, tattva yajnanam advayam, prameti paramat meti bhagavan iti shabdate. Those who know tattva, this is how they describe it. Okay, this is tattva, prameti paramat meti. Vedanta tat vidas, tat Vedanta tattva yajnanam advayam. It is something that is consciousness, that is reality. Everything is part of that consciousness. And it's known in 3 different ways. Okay, that's tattva. Now, how do you understand tattva? Tad-darśana muniyo jnana vairakta yuktaya pashantyatmati pyuta bhakti shruta kriyata. The seriously inquisitive sage. Just see if someone's coming in there. Yeah. What? A box? Just put the box down. Bob, you come back at 6, okay? Come at 6. Put in the refrigerator and come at 6. Shut the door. Thanks, Bob. The seriously inquisitive sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes God by what he's faithfully heard from Shastra. I discussed this. There's faith and there's thoughtfulness. You can't go beyond your frame of reference without faith. And you won't be sure what you hear is what's being spoken unless you're thoughtful and raise your doubts. So these 2 things have to be there. And well equipped with knowledge and detachment. You don't have knowledge, you don't know what to do. You're not disciplined, you can't do it. So they had the discipline and they had some understanding, they had faith, but they lacked the knowledge. So Gop Kumar is going to tell him, here's my story. This is how you do it. My story is going to illustrate how when you get mantra from Guru and you're faithful in that mantra, this is how you proceed back to God. These are the qualities that you need. So his is the example. So we're following Gopkumar's explaining his journey, and we're seeing his qualities. And it seems what's emphasized here in bhakti is faith in Guru and mantra and simplicity and knowledge. But the core is the faith in mantra and Guru and simplicity, not the complexity of the world. And in other words, simplicity, a little detachment. So we see that in Gopkumar. And we follow his journey, and we follow the challenges in his journey. He's offered positions. I remember when growing up a devotee, and all of a sudden, it's hard to believe these people became gurus after Prabhupada, and they didn't know what to do except to follow Prabhupada's example. Come on. They were 28 years old. They were 28, 29. Some were a little bit older, 35. The oldest person was 10 years in the movement. Hmm. Anyway, got a little distracted, but so anyway, we're following Gopkumar's. Oh yeah, and I was talking about position. Sometimes it's described like a fever. The more material things you get, the more complexity. It's described like a fever. The fever is a symptom of a disease. Now, it doesn't have to be, but there's such a temptation when you surround yourself with objects of enjoyment and control. There's a temptation, unless, of course, that's your service and you're using them in Krishna's service. So we see with Gopkumar that no matter what position he gets, Lord Brahma, King of Puri, that simplicity, it never breaks his simplicity. And when he takes those positions, what does he think? How can I use them to spread Krishna consciousness? This is the secret of karma yoga. The secret of karma yoga is you're attached, but when you use things for God, or of course, grihasta means, on the basic dharma level, grihasta means charity and responsibility. When you use things for God, you tend to see things as gods. And what is Maya? You see things as separate from God so that you can have the feeling of superiority and control. So you have that attachment and you use them for God. So we see so many examples from Gopkumar. And not only that, that life of faith and simplicity is very attractive wherever he goes. They would, Lord Brahma, Indra, all these, they say this is the man. They can see those qualities. So now the part we're at is he's ready in this journey to bust through the universe. And then there's the abode of liberation, where the effulgence of God covers his form in such a way that it allures one to be part of God as a particle of consciousness. And somehow it's an eternal, it can be an eternal feeling of a kind of bliss, of no pain, but not love. Not love, not the intensity of love. So what happens with him is, because of that simplicity and faith, actually speaking, we have no idea what Prabhupada gave us. We have no idea what Prabhupada gave us. He gave us the holy name of Krishna, which is non-different from Krishna. But we're not feeling it. And the example Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave is like God is like a magnet of energy and love that's supposed to, Krishna, supposed to draw us to him, an attraction. And that attraction called love is the essence of the Ladini Shakti. It's God's pleasure. And that's what we're supposed to live in, rasa vyasa. We're supposed to live in that realm. But the example, I think, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we are covered by rust, material desires, ambitions, false ego, and therefore that the power of God cannot attract us. And therefore we're chanting the holy name and we're thinking, why? But when the heart becomes purified, that's God. And it draws us to him, and it draws out of our heart devotion and love, so that as Rupa Goswami says, Tunde tandavani rutam vitunate talapyate karna krodha kadambani vijayate. I can't imagine how much nectar is in these syllables, Krishna. When they enter my ears, I wish many ears. When they enter my tongue, I wish many tongues. And when they enter into the courtyard of my heart, the senses become inert. I become overwhelmed. So Gop Kumar, he has that faith, somehow that faith, that this experience of connection with God is my goal. Brahmanda Brahmate Konya Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Pasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, wandering from universe to universe, from species of life to species of life, until by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we get the Bhakti Lata Bij. And what is the Bhakti Lata Bij? It's faith. It's an attraction to God. It's a feeling of that draw. Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta Prabhu said, you can quote it many times. He said, we were all pure devotees until we got a taste for position or power. All pure, all simple. And you open your heart like that, and you feel that attraction. So somehow Gop Kumar had that faith, and he kept that faith by faithfully chanting his mantra in a simple life without any offense, except sometimes the confusion. Like here, maybe, I don't know if it was an offense or not, but somehow Lord Shiva was drawing him so powerfully that he was thinking that maybe this is Lord Gopal, and my Gopal is a manifestation of Lord Shiva, and just not manifest. He said, but I don't feel that sweetness. I don't feel that. So he's in this kind of attraction with Lord Shiva, when all of a sudden, I mean, he's thinking, wow, Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva, he hears this kirtan, and the Vaikuntha Vasis come. And he's, I can use this word, he's blown away by their beauty. And this is also a point that will come out in the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. We don't know what beauty is. We don't know what taste is. We don't know what form is. We don't know what sound is. Because it can, in higher planets, for the service of Krishna, it can be millions and millions of times more. And when it describes Vaikuntha, it'll come later. When he goes to Vaikuntha, it'll describe Vaikuntha. It says, don't even try how beautiful people are there. Just like today, Sabyasachi, who's my partner in service here, the Govardhan Bhakta Seva Ashram. It's really our theme, is to serve Vaishnavas. Special, special mercy. So he sends videos. So he sent a video. He's there in the Krishna Balar Mandir when they're having their boat festival. And it is spectacular. The water, they have a science where you can make flower decorations on water. And they have a little temple in the middle of the thing for Radha and Krishna, and they have a boat for Radha and Krishna. And people are throwing flowers from the sky, and the kirtan is going. It's beautiful for love, for devotion. When you love Krishna, you offer the best. That's why Radharani is Mahabhav Sarup. She's the manifestation of love, of the highest love, Mahabhav. She's the highest, the manifestation of Bhava. So she's the best. In other words, if she was the manifestation of Mahabhav, then would she offer Krishna her form that's not beautiful beyond belief? Jewelry, would she dress in jewelry that is shabby? Would her speech be harsh? Would her singing be okay? Her singing, it's described in the rasa dance when Krishna begins to sing. And the test of singing is that you go high. So Krishna went high. And then Radharani went high. Even high, even Krishna was clapping. Sadhu, sadhu. This is great because she offers the best. So these Vaikuntha Vasis, the beauty, he can't even describe their beauty. And then when Lord Shiva sees them, this is a effect of bhakti, that kirtan and any manifestation of Krishna brings out the love within your heart. It's like a log has fire. And when you come in contact with God, which is like fire, the fire in you comes out, which is your attraction to God. And it comes out so forcefully that you have to dance, you have to sing. So they start doing this wild kirtan. He starts doing this wild kirtan, Lord Shiva. So what is Gop Kumar thinking? I was thinking he's God. Now he's worshiping people that are even more beautiful in Vaikuntha. So now what's happening here? Then all of a sudden, the four Kumaras come, because the four Kumaras are incarnations of God, but also in the form of devotees. And what do devotees do? They give devotion. So there's this interplanetary sankirtan that's going on all the time. Even Lord Brahma is traveling from planet to planet. So sometimes they meet. And we have to understand, if we believe in God, there are different dimensions, and that's another dimension. Just like we say, like, how could Krishna in the morning, like, go to Govardhan Hill from this? It takes so long. His determination is an absolute fact. It's not that Krishna thinks, oh my God, this is long. I wish I was there. He's there. His determination, it runs on God's will. He's all powerful. So the four Kumaras are traveling and preaching. At the same time, it's going to describe they're in Tapalokas, their base, because this is especially an incarnation to reward the pure tapasvis in Shantaras. They have appreciation for God. They appreciate, and therefore the tapasvis, there's even a discussion that goes, God is in their minds, but he also, the four Kumaras appear and they become very attractive. And when you have love, even if it's selfless and you want to give yourself, it's a beautiful thing. And when the object of your love goes, the absence is very difficult. So he has to also be there in Tapaloka. And we see this phenomena even in Krishna's pastimes, etc., that there's some phenomena which Gaur Govinda Maharaj called the embankment of separation, that a river flows when there's two equal banks. And if one bank is low, the river becomes wider and less forceful. So it's described that prema, this energy between God and his devotee, it flows. It's an energy that flows between God and his devotee. This attraction, God is all attractive, so it draws out this love, but there's always this separation and union, just like when Krishna goes to the forest every day, the residents of Vrindavan feel separation. And then the trees blossom. And then when he comes back, the trees wither and the residents of Vrindavan feel blissful. So there's this constant separation and union, keeping these embankments. Even when Lord Chaitanya was in the Gambhira, Srup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, Lalita and Vishaka, helping him in his devotion, in that feeling, they would carefully regulate union and separation. When Lord Chaitanya was dying of separation, then they would sing songs and stories of union. And when the union became too much, then separation. So then Tapaloka, Sanat Kumar leaves, and then he comes back, and he leaves and comes back. But now what happens is this Gop Kumar, who has a very soft and faithful heart. He's very pure, very simple. He has no envy. So he becomes attracted. Anything in relationship to God activates that energy, but it never reaches the level of the manifestation of God when he chants his mantra, Madan Gopal, the sweetness, the variety, because we know in Krishna there's prema madhurya, there's a variety of love, and there's lila madhurya, there's a variety of pastimes, and there's rupa madhurya, that the happiness of God creates even more beauty, and there's vena madhurya, that God can intimately reveal his heart through playing the flute. So he has this Madan Gopal in his mind. So it never equals that force, but it's still so powerful. So now he sees the four Kumaras, their God, and what happens? He's so attracted from darshana, that swabhav, spontaneously, praharṣa, harsha means happiness, incredible joy, a Krishna-katha that attracts his mind. And nājñāsiṣaṁ, and he's telling this to the mature Brahmin, and I was not aware of anything, antar bahiś, external or he went into a samadhi. The difference between dhyana and samadhi, dhyana is described that when your meditation is so consistent, it's like oil. When oil pours, there's no space in between. So what can be higher than that? Samadhi, where there's not only no space in between your meditation, but you don't even have consciousness of anything outside. I talk sometimes to the audience. You were talking sometimes like a symphony. Many things can go on at once. And I saw that when I went to Meninsky Theater in St. Petersburg and saw Swan Lake. And my patrons that brought me to St. Petersburg, wonderful, incredible people, generous people, good devotees. They so much wanted me to go to the ballet. And the year before, I didn't go to the ballet. I said, why am I going to go to a ballet? But they so much wanted me to go to the ballet. And the tickets they would buy is actually like the King's box or something. There's one box it wasn't available that day, but normally they put their guests where they put the president or something. I mean, I never saw an opera, all these levels of like, it's like 5, 6 that goes up. But I had the seats in the front, in the middle. The conductor's head was right under me. And I learned the conductor, what he has in his mind, because at once he is directing the dancing by the music, he's directing the things. Many things are going on in the mind. So we were talking about this before, that many things can go in the mind, and we should have spiritual things going in the mind, so there's no room for Maya to come in. So Gop Kumar, so in meditation, in samadhi, there's nothing going on outside. In dhyana, you're still conscious. There's something outside of me. You may not be meditating on it, but you're conscious. I'm here in this place. I'm here in this place. You're still conscious. I'm here in this particular place. But samadhi, and that's why when Ishvara Puri told Lord Chaitanya that the essence of the Bhagavatam is to chant with without full heart, without any inhibition, without any attachment, the sambandha of the names of God who you have attachment to, and jatanu raga, from that comes the pastimes of Krishna in such a way that you're not aware of what's happening outside. So this is what's happening. He's so attracted that he's not even thinking, and he's not even thinking of anyat, other things, nija to myself that are dear. So he's forgetting now. It's so attractive, this 4 Kumaras. He's actually forgetting, I think maybe he's forgetting a bit. So this is what happens. Shanat swasto pyoho tesham dasatvam api chetasa nasakam vachatam vitya lajaya chasu durgatam. After a moment, I came back to normal consciousness. So he just was swasta, shanat, api jatu tishla, shanat. After a moment, swasta. I'm returned, situated to normal consciousness. But I couldn't bring myself to ask him to make me their servant. I felt too afraid and embarrassed to ask such an unlikely blessing, even silent within my mind. So again, I think we went over this a little bit the last time, that he's so humble. Even though he had so many positions, like Sanatana Goswami, he was the chief minister, but when he came to Lord Chaitanya, he said, people think I'm a learned man. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm coming from. I don't know who I am. He came with a straw in his teeth. Rupa Goswami, when he came into the assembly, he also was such a big man, right? And Rupa Lord Chaitanya, he tested the envy of Sarup Damodar and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya by glorifying Rupa Goswami and checking how do they feel. I'm glorifying, but they're pure devotees. They were ecstatic. And Rupa Goswami didn't want to chant his verses. He didn't want to impress people. So again, this quality of bhakti, real bhakti, where that center position, which we're vying for by the number of likes we have on social media, they have no interest. They rather go from the center, like Raghunath Das Goswami. He was the son of the richest man in West Bengal. He was in a distance. He wasn't coming to the front because they would say, oh, there's Raghunath Das, the son of the richest man in West Bengal. I remember when Krishna Das Babaji, you wouldn't believe this, in Mangal Artik in Krishna Bala Mandir, maybe there were like 20 people. And this devotee, Satchidananda, a Bengali devotee, he is the one who Prabhupada would have chanting. And he probably had a broken mridanga. And when he would chant, it was incomparable. You had it like it was Goloka Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. The names was coming down. You had to tilt your head, or you had to be like cows, which you had ears that hold the nectar. And then one day we look back, and who did we see praying to Prabhupada at the Vyasadhan? A Kinchana Krishnadas Babaji. So we say, oh, there's the Kinchana Krishnadas Babaji. He's doing his bhajan in the morning. He doesn't want, oh, there's Krishnadas Babaji. He's just focused on his Istaday. So Gop Kumar thought it would be offensive, so insignificant he felt, to ask for the exalted position of serving. He couldn't get the courage. He was such a humble guy. He was so shy. I can't ask. But the exalted position of servant, that's the most exalted position to a devotee. That's why the wives of when Krishna sends the cowherd boys to the Brahmins, they say, Bhadram Te, this is so auspicious. We're giving you service. But the Brahmins had the wrong faith. Swarga Kamaya, they wanted heavenly planets and enjoy. So they looked at service as something low class. The Vaishnava is service is that's why we call ourselves Das. It's a very exalted position for the Vaishnavas. Das, servant. Esha hilala sanunam kripanam mama baddhata sabhasaran ime kim mam shivasya kripaya sakrit kutratya katame vaite kripangena pantumam yana prisham rudra prema murcham ayam braje. Simply by embracing them, Lord Shiva can suddenly go into a swoon of prema. And in my wretchedness, a certain longing troubled me, a longing that just once, by the mercy of Lord Shiva, these persons might somehow talk to me, or on some pretext may save me by the mercy of the sidelong glance. I think that's the way people felt around Prabhupada. If he could just look at me, if he could talk to me, if I could serve him. And Lord Shiva embraced him. And that's the prema. Acknowledgement of that relationship is a strong desire. A strong desire. And we have that with someone that we respect or love reverently. We want their acknowledgement. It's part of love. So he wants kripa bhangena, the mercy of their sidelong glance. It'll save me. When they saw Lord Shiva, Prema Murchan, he fainted. a lingam, embracing. Gop Kumar thought that only the mercy of these wonderful persons, would save him from dying ultimately out of frustration. Without even knowing who they were and from where they had come, he was convinced they were great souls. Look, when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta wanted to take initiation from Gorky Shore Das Babaji, he refused. He was going to kill himself. He had that feeling that this is my life. Without that, there's no life. That's the gopis. When they saw Krishna in the coils of the serpent of Kali, Govinda Varahena me. He's my life. Without me, there's no life. And I know one person, I'm not going to say it was, he wanted to take initiation from someone. Because this person had the person he wanted to take initiation from had some real Braj Bhakti. But he's a great preacher in our movement. And he was a great preacher in our movement. And the person aspiring for him, actually, it turned out he had some purva samskara for Braja Bhakti. But this guru wouldn't let him visit, wouldn't let him come. He just wanted to be in his own area. And this friend, he was thinking of killing himself. But it turned out to be real because he turned out to be, this person that I know, he turned out to be extremely elevated, seriously elevated on the path of Braja Bhakti. So Gop Kumar was dying out of frustration. He thought, this is it. This is my life. Without this, I have no life. So we always see that Buddhist Gop Kumar has so much determination. He's searching so seriously. Okay, because I started late and I also have an audience, I'm going to go 15 more minutes. If you have to go, go, but I'm going to continue. Ityadiman manovritam gyatva devyo mayerita shiva chita nuvartinya ganesho katayachani. Okay, 1 second here. Let me get back. So the goddess Uma, who always acts in accord with Lord Shiva's heart, understood what I was thinking. She then had Ganesh gently address me. So Uma, Devi, knows Lord Shiva's heart. Lord Shiva is omniscient. He recognizes Gop Kumar's desire. And Uma, Sisha disciples, Narayana Maharaj told me this, Sisha disciple takes the mood of the guru. When you serve someone, it empowers you to know their heart. When you serve someone, it empowers you. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. That's why Rupa Goswami knew his heart, because the service, you give your heart overtly or mystically to those who have a mood to serve you. So Uma, she knows Lord Shiva's heart, and they know Gop Kumar's heart, and then she tells Ganesh, you speak to him and pacify him. He said, this boy is sincere. This boy is sincere. So Ganesh spoke in a quiet voice, because what he was to say was going to be very confidential for all the companions of Lord Shiva and Lord Shiva's consort, always present in her own heart, acts only with his sanction. So she's representing. So that Ganesh, Sri Ganesh Uvacha Ete Vaikuntanathasya Sri Krishnasya Mahaprabho Parshada Prapta Savrupya Vaikuntad Agata Kila. Sri Ganesh said, these are associates of the rulers of Vaikuntha, the Supreme Lord Krishna. They have attained bodily forms similar to his, and they've come here from Vaikuntha itself. So one of the 5 types of liberation, we don't want Sayuja Mukti, which is to merge, is Sarupya Mukti. You get the same form. And it's just God's entourage should look very beautiful. There's no more beautiful than him. So they have similar forms to him. That's a type of boon you get, the service. Here the word kila means certainly this is true. You should not doubt that it come from the spiritual. It says, look, they're coming. So, and which is significant, right? Because after Mahakalapur is Shiva Loka, or Lord Shiva, and then comes Vaikuntha. So he said, they're coming from Vaikuntha. So Gop Kumar is getting closer and closer. And sometimes it's like that. It's described that someone can be in Sakya Ras and then go to Madhurya Ras. Because within Madhurya Ras is also friendship. But then when they get a certain type of association, there is in the history of our a Baba Grahi. You can come in for a second. Yeah, you can come in. You come in. You'll hear Krishna-katha. In fact, I'll give you a list of my classes, and when you're not in Radha Kund or Sri Rupa Seva Kund, shut the door, you can go. Okay. So they have these similar forms to God. Anyway, Vaikuntha, and that's the next stage. So he's explaining. Yeah, go ahead.
You said something about something.
Oh yeah, right. Within the Madhurya Ras, there's also friendship, right? It's also parental love. The wife can be the mother, the husband can be the father. That could be there. There's also the mood of service. So there is history where someone in a particular ras, he's really eternally in Madhurya, but it hasn't manifest yet, right? And then somehow you can go higher, but you can't go, once you get higher, you can't go lower, right? You're not going to go lower. So I'm just speculating here that with Gop Kumar, he has this, but these other elements are in that, because the mood of dasya is in all relationships. In all relationships. So you can appreciate in Vidurya, you also can appreciate servitude. But it's a different thing. I tell you, this also Narayan Maharaj once said. He said, I think they were in Mumbai, and he said, and they have Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. So Narayan Maharaj is a Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. his probably taught to Desh by his guru was Matara and Braj Mandal. So he said, when a devotee sees Ram, a Braja Bhakti sees Ram, they think, oh, how wonderful Krishna is. He's in the role of a king. So, okay, a few more minutes. Pashyemi papare, one more verse. Yanti Brahmano dikrite pake Brahmande chatur asyasya tatami duratapare amichasya mukhasyaitad dvigune yanta vegata amitu sodashasyasya Brahmande dvigune tata. Just see these other Vaikuntha companions of the Lord traveling in this small universe ruled by four-headed Brahma, and further away those others moving swiftly in the universe of an eight-headed Brahma, a world twice as large, and those others in the world of Brahma with 16 heads and a world twice as large. One time, a god sister of mine came, and actually, when I grew up in New York, I lived on 105th Street in N, and she lived on 104th Street in N, and I knew her brother. And she came to Vrindavan. She's a god sister, one of the great, I forgot her name, one of the great book distributors, the 12-hour a day, Samapriya, the 12-hour a day people, 7 days a week, completely dedicated to Prabhupada in that way, very good devotee. So her mother came to Govardhan, and her mother became a psychologist, like a PhD in psychology. So I took them to Govardhan. I started telling the story of Govardhan. And she said to her mother, well, what do you think? He says, well, if you're accepting he's God, then what's so hard to do that? Once you accept the premise of God, then what's so difficult to accept the rest? So once you accept Krishna as God, then okay, four-headed, that's going to be described million-headed. I can't figure out what that looks like, but it's a different realm that's beyond temporo-spatial, beyond time and space. Okay, so somehow, despite I was late today, these last days I've got a couple of weeks left here in Govardhan, taking shelter at the holy name. It just you feel energy here. You feel energy. So even though I was late and I kept people waiting, faithfully they stayed on. Jamuna Jaya, if you're there, if you would like to say hello, usually say something that inspired you.
Hare Krishna Raj, thank you so much for class. Yeah, there's so many good nuggets in this class, but I really feel like the theme came down to like service and das, because I love what you said about that, the exalted position of servant. And we see Kumar, he's been like everything. He's been offered everything, but he sees that the most exalted position is that of servant. And I love when he said, I hope for their sidelong glance, not even the full glance, but just the sidelong glance. So it was just really wonderful to hear the exaltedness of being Das. So that was really, I felt like the theme today. Thank you, Maharaj.
Everything is das.
Yeah.
Every relationship is das. It's a flavor of das.
Mm.
So yes. Prabhupada said, someone said, oh, you're such a great devotee. Prabhupada said, no, devotee is not ordinary thing. Servant is the ultimate humility. The ultimate power is humility, because you have to overcome the false ego. That's the great strength. So people think that's weakness, but actually people who are servants, it's powerful. Gail, let's get this streak going. This saying, I don't have any more questions, Maharaj.
Yeah, true. I really don't have much of a question. I just wanted to confirm that the four Kumaras, they were Shakti avatars, no?
It said that there. It said that they were Shaktavesha avatars. I'll look that up again, but I believe that they said they're Shaktavesha avatars, which means they may be jivas, but they're empowered to do something as if God was doing it. Like
Yes.
Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's a position. It's not an eternal demigod. He's the godly editor. I think it even says that Theoden or something, some weird person against Krishna after many generations became devout. It means Vyas editor. He's godly editor. He can edit as God can edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, can you just remind me what was it that that Gopkumar saw in, I guess, all four of the Kumars? He just saw something that reminded him of
They were
Madan
God.
Gopal. Huh?
They were God.
Mm.
It's kind of, it's not, doesn't have to be an intellectual thing. When a mother sees their child, there's something. It sees a relative, there's something. There's energy. There's a natural, a calf sees a cow. So what to speak when you see God and you're a devotee? I don't think he had to analyze things. I think it just, again, the magnet and the metal, the energy is there. That's all.
Yeah, Ayani was eavesdropping on the class, and she said, "What does that mean?" I think it's when you said you feel this energy over there.
Okay, now you explain to her, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And give her my regards. Tell her I'm coming back on the 12th, okay? On the
Yeah.
6th, okay. Okay, quickly, anybody else like to say hello?
Well,
Quickly.
I thought you were going to answer her question.
What question?
That when you said, this, you feel an energy. At the very end of your class, you said that you feel this
Energy, I'm
energy.
saying what prem is this energy of love that's natural between people who have a relationship. So it's reflected in this world between, married people or lovers, between friends, between parents and child. But it's a natural love between the soul, again, like the iron and magnet and God. It's a natural connection. And that's called the highest form of love. In Narada Bhakti Sutras, it's mentioned, Tasmin Parama Prema Rup. The highest form of love is to God. That's natural. It's
And
natural.
that's what you were referring to when you said you're feeling this energy?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm referring to. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we go, anybody else like to say hello quickly?
Hello, Maharaj. This is Denny.
Hey, Denny.
How are you?
Always nice to see you. How you doing?
I just got back from North Carolina. I'm gonna email you this story. I went to this mountain called Prayer Mountain. They've been praying up there for over 100 years. I'm gonna email you this story that happened to me while I was there. I'm not gonna take up your time on it.
Okay, nice to see you. Thank you.
Nice to see you. See you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Govinda.
And Broja, thank you for class.
Thank you for class.
I'm so happy you guys are steady. You want to be disciples, you listen to the guru speak. Otherwise, what does it mean?
That's
Right?
wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, Haribo. We'll see you
Haribo.
soon.
See you
Okay.
soon. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
Anybody else say hello? And then we'll head out. Okay, I'm going to look down the
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Kalachandri. Haribo.
Thanks so much for class.
Great to see you again. And
Thank
we'll
you.
talk soon about the trip.
Wonderful.
We'll make a good plan. A
Great.
good plan.
Wonderful.
Okay. Okay, Krishna-katha, Haribo, you're there?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here. Thank you greatly. Maharaj, I didn't understand that I was interrupting. Excuse me, please. Thank you for the class very much.
Okay, I'm
Greatly.
I'm probably coming to Moscow in the middle of July. So I'll see you there.
Oh, great, great.
Okay.
We're waiting. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking down the list. Anybody else want to say hello? Okay. All right. I'm headed out.